Realme was the first to raise the bar in the sub 15,000 rupees segment with the Realme 6, which offers premium features such as a hole punch front camera, a 90Hz refresh rate display, and a powerful processor, all at a starting price of just 12,999 rupees. Now, Xiaomi obviously wasn't going to take this lying down, and unsurprisingly, we now have the Redmi Note 9 Pro to take on the Realme 6. Both phones have the same starting price and the same amounts of RAM and storage. So, which is the one you should be putting your money on? Let's have a look. Now, before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that bell icon so you're the first to know whenever we have a new video. Let's first take a look at the RAM and storage variants and the pricing of the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now, let's take a look at the variants of the Realme 6. Just when the designs of most budget smartphones have begun to blend in with one another, the Redmi Note 9 Pro comes in with a distinctive camera layout which should help it stand out from the rest. The Aurora blue color looks great, but the shiny back picks up smudges almost instantly. It's a heavy phone at 209 grams and its button placement is far from ergonomic. The power button is a tad too high and the volume buttons are hopelessly out of reach for one-handed use. Xiaomi continues to offer an infrared emitter on the top, which is missing on the Realme 6. The Realme 6's design feels a little stale in comparison to Xiaomi's offering. It is thicker, but the volume and power buttons are a lot more ergonomically placed for daily use. However, the back panel uses laminated plastic instead of glass, which is where it loses some points to the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now, despite its slightly heavier body and awkwardly placed buttons, we'd still pick the Redmi Note 9 Pro over the Realme 6 when it comes to design. It looks refreshingly new, a glass back is always good to have, and it's a bit slimmer, which makes it nicer to hold. The Redmi Note 9 Pro has a slightly larger 6.67-inch Full HD Plus display with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection. The Realme 6 on the other hand has a 6.5-inch display with the same resolution but only gets Gorilla Glass 3. Both phones use an IPS LCD panels rather than AMOLED, and we found the brightness and colors to be more than adequate even for outdoor use during the day. Both also feature hole punch cutouts which are quite large and can be distracting, especially in apps that fill up the full screen. Coming to the sound quality, the speaker in the Realme 6 can get a lot louder than the one in the Redmi Note 9 Pro at full volume. Apart from that, it also sounds a bit richer and more detailed. The Redmi Note 9 Pro uses the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G SoC, while the Realme 6 uses the MediaTek Helio G90T SoC. Now, both produce similar scores in most of the popular benchmark apps. In general use, we didn't really face any issues with either smartphone. Multitasking is handled well and both are snappy when navigating through Android with their respective custom UIs on top. The fluid effect when scrolling is missing in the Redmi Note 9 Pro, which the Realme 6 enjoys thanks to the 90Hz refresh rate. Both phones handle heavy 3D games with ease in our tests. We tried the usual heavy hitters such as PUBG Mobile and Asphalt 9 Legends, both of which ran well with solid frame rates. The Realme 6 did get slightly warmer than the Redmi Note 9 Pro after an extended gaming session, but the temperatures of both devices never got out of control. Now, both phones also have equally fast fingerprint sensors, and a quick tap on the side is all it takes to wake them up without actually having to press their power buttons. Face recognition also worked equally well on both phones. Now, the Redmi Note 9 Pro has a much bigger 5020 mAh battery compared to the 4300 mAh one in the Realme 6. In our tests, we found that both phones would easily last for about a day and a half before needing a charge, which is very good. Now, when it comes to charging, the Realme 6 can be topped up a lot quicker thanks to support for 30-watt fast charging and a smaller battery capacity compared to 18-watt and a larger battery in the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Both phones have 4 rear cameras, but the choices of sensors and lenses are quite different. Let's first take a look at the rear camera specs for the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now let's look at the same specs for the Realme 6. Autofocus was quick on both phones, and when shooting landscapes in daylight, we found that the Realme 6 did a better job overall. Details in distant objects were better represented and colors were more natural compared to the Redmi Note 9 Pro, which often sharpened the images and boosted colors a bit too much. Looking at the wide-angle camera shots from both phones, it's the Redmi Note 9 Pro that did a better job with details. This was true for macro shots as well. Close-ups were almost evenly matched, although we prefer the slightly richer colors and textures that the Realme 6 produced. In low light too, it was the Realme 6 that delivered slightly better details and exposure in the darker regions of photos. Surprisingly, the Realme 6's wide-angle camera performed slightly better in low light compared to the Redmi Note 9 Pros. Let's now take a moment to look at the selfie camera specs of the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Let's do the same thing for the Realme 6 as well. With selfies, we found the Realme 6 captured better details and skin tones, although the Redmi Note 9 Pro wasn't too far behind. And both selfie cameras captured weak details in low light, but we preferred the overall warmer skin tones of the Realme 6's photos. With screen flash enabled on both phones, the Redmi Note 9 Pro captured much brighter colors, but these weren't entirely accurate either. The Realme 6 managed an evenly lit photo with more neutral colors. The Realme 6 and the Redmi Note 9 Pro can both shoot up to 4K resolution video, but without any stabilization. And during the day, the Realme 6 captures more realistic looking footage compared to the highly boosted colors from the Redmi Note 9 Pro. The latter does manage better quality videos with a wide-angle camera though. At 1080p, the Redmi Note 9 Pro has better stabilization, but again, colors can look heavily exaggerated. In low light, footage recorded with both phones at 4K is noisy, but the Realme 6 captures better colors. Even at 1080p, footage is still grainy, but the Realme 6 manages better exposure and details compared to the Redmi Note 9 Pro, which captures softer details. As for the wide-angle cameras, it's the Note 9 Pro which has slightly better looking results, although both phones still managed to capture very dark video which was barely usable. Both Xiaomi and Realme offer their own customized versions of Android 10. The Redmi Note 9 Pro runs MIUI 11, which features a lot of neat customizations and a system-wide dark mode. This being MIUI though, you should expect a lot of spammy notifications from stock apps and ads. Both of these cannot always be disabled. Realme's new Realme UI is lean and offers a look and feel that's closer to stock Android, which we appreciate. Most of the bloatware on Realme 6 can be removed, and a few unsolicited notifications you get on this phone can easily be disabled. Despite the issues with spam in MIUI, both custom skins are polished and easy to live with. Now, if we had to pick a winner between the Xiaomi Redmi Note 9 Pro and the Realme 6 based on all the tests we've done on them, the Realme 6 would be the one. It's more manageable for everyday use with more ergonomically placed buttons and quicker charging. It also has slightly more powerful processor, better loudspeaker, and a higher refresh rate display. Its cameras can also deliver more consistent performance. Then there's the Realme UI software, which we do prefer over MIUI. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is a solid offering too and one-ups the Realme 6 in some areas, most notably its scratch-resistant glass back, more distinctive design, bigger battery, and better wide-angle and macro cameras. However, it's not the easiest to manage in the hand. MIUI can be annoying with its never-ending spam notifications, and it isn't as easily available as the Realme 6 since it's only sold through flash sales for now. If you're looking for the best smartphone currently on sale for under 15,000 rupees, then the Realme 6 is the one to go for. Thanks for watching, and for more comparisons and reviews, do stay tuned to Gadgets360.com.